Hello friends, thank you so much for watching. This is for those who want and who can do more. You have options in the description below. May I suggest a membership program because it is the most affordable way to support the channel. But I want you to know this, that by you watching from start to finish, commenting, pressing the like button, and if you haven't done so, subscribe, helps my algorithm a ton. So don't minimize the essence of who you are. Okay? Thank you. All right, no intro needed. Day one of the trial. Let's go straight into it. But first, it's important that I give you my legal spiel because losses are real, my dears. If you are new here, I am Alistair Nzekio, and this is just my point of view.
Can you please tell us your name?
My name is Timothy G. Schmidt.
Mr. Schmidt, how old are you?
I'm 66 years old.
Mr. Schmidt, where do you currently live?
4300 North Bottom Road.
Mr. Schmidt, were you married at one point?
Yes.
Who were you married to?
I was married to Tina Lohman.
How long were you and Miss Lohman married?
A little over 2 years.
Were you together longer than that?
Yes, 36 years.
So you were together for 36 years and married for 2 years.
Yes.
I want to talk to you a little bit about Tina. First, I'm going to hand you what's been marked as People's Exhibit 77. Do you recognize that person?
Yes, that was my wife, Christine Lohman.
Your Honor, we'd ask People's Exhibit 77 be introduced into evidence and published to the jury.
Mr. Yohn, any objection?
No.
Request is granted. We will admit People's Exhibit 77 without objection. You may publish to the jury.
Did Tina have children?
Yes.
How many children did she have?
She had 4 children.
Did she have 14 grandkids
Yes.
and 17 great-grandchildren?
And probably more, yeah.
Possibly more. Was Christina big on the holidays?
That's insane. That is insane.
Yes, she was.
Like to buy Christmas presents?
She loved Christmas.
Loved Christmas. And you guys lived together at 4300 North Bottom Road here in Quincy, is that right?
Yes.
I want to talk to you about the night of November 9th, 2024, okay? That night, or that morning, did you go to work?
Yes.
Where do you work?
I own American Builders Supply.
Let me talk about that for a second. Did Tina work with you at American Builders Supply?
Yes, she did.
You guys ran that business together
Yes.
for the 38 years that you guys were together?
She was there, not quite 38 years. She was there, I think she came on in 1993, so. But quite a while.
Not quite
a while.
Okay. You left work that morning, or
Yes.
left for work that morning. Where did you go after work? What time did you leave work?
I left work sometime after 5 o'clock, and I went to Farm and Home. It was just before deer season, and I like to hunt deer, so I went over looking to see if there was anything I wanted to get before season opened up.
Getting ready for deer hunting.
Getting ready for deer hunting, yes.
How long were you there?
I'd say probably, I guess, a half hour, 40 minutes or something.
And you went home after that?
Yes.
Got home around 6 p.m., give or take?
Yes.
It was November 9th, 6 p.m. Was the sun up? Was the sun down? Tell me what.
Dark.
When you got home around 6 p.m. And you pulled up
All
here.
right, object. Leading.
All right, this is foundational purposes, so I will overrule that objection.
When you got home around 6 p.m., did you notice anything unusual?
Listen, what baffles me about these sovereign citizens is that, look, throwing objections around like that, 99% of the time you're going to get it wrong. I mean, English is not my first language, so I don't even master it like that. And I'm always like, really? Objecting to what? Because everything sounds good to me, right? It baffles me that they even come up with like, okay, now I object. Like what in their circuitry of their chemistry tells them now you should object? Is it just random? It has to be random. It has to be random. They're like, oh, objection, leading, right?
About your house.
I noticed that the garage door was open. There were some items on the floor in the garage. The car was gone. There were some tire marks in the yard.
So I'm going to hand you, or have the bailiff hand you, some photographs as we go through your testimony. And for the record, it's going to be people's 35 through 50 inclusive, and then people's exhibit 80 and 90. And I'm going to ask you to look through those and tell me when you've had a chance to look through those. Get a chance to go through all those?
Yes.
In a general sense, are those photographs of the exterior and interior of your house, your residence at 4300 North Bottom Road? Is that what they generally are?
Yes.
And do those photographs show what you saw on November 9th, 2021, when you were in the residence and as you were going into the residence?
Yes.
Your Honor, we'd ask that those exhibits be introduced into evidence and leave given to publish them during the course of the rest of the questioning.
Mr. Yohn, any objection?
Excuse me, what exhibits were them, Your Honor? 80, 81, and the ones of the home?
35 through 50, then 80 and 81.
I want you to look at something else quite significant, because first of all, Mr. Smith, I had to give him all the credit here because he is handling this like a champ. That's his wife, for darn sake. And only he knows the HD of the real thing the day of the assault. He understands the screams, the tears, that night. They obviously did not sleep. All of that is still very much in his memory. And he was very composed until he started looking at Mr. Yohn. And then his composure is starting to break. It's quite impressive that he's putting a stoic front, but it's just a front. And I wouldn't be surprised if he's doing it to be an anchor for his kids and the grandkids, but inside he is absolutely just livid and devastated and cannot, just if he could, he would. Do you know, if you know what I mean? Wow.
No objection, Your Honor.
Exhibits will be admitted without objection and state may publish.
The excessive blinking, as I told you, is processing power. He is either self-talking himself, self-soothing, or actually leaning into his anger. Good self-control there, sir. Great self-control.
Up on the screen is People's Exhibit 35, and actually you have a monitor there. It should be on that monitor as well. Can you tell us what this is?
That's my home?
And you talked about the garage door. Is this the garage door that you were talking about?
Yes.
And you said when you got there, the garage door was open. Is that what we see here?
Yes.
And you said there were some things lying on the floor.
Yes.
And there wasn't a car in the garage. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Why did the fact that there wasn't a car in the garage and the garage door being opened at 6 p.m. at night trouble you, concern you?
Well, my wife Tina drove the car, the Toyota Avalon, that would normally be parked there, and of course the car was gone. And then I noticed the door was kicked open.
And we'll get to that in a minute. You said there was also some tire marks. Can you tell me where you saw those tire marks?
They were there by the bush there to the right of the garage.
Yeah, he's losing his composure. You could tell as he's answering, he cannot unfocus anymore from dealing with Mr. Yohn. You know, it's sad. It's sad because he's in so much pain and he's trying very hard to compose and do the motion, you know.
Put up on the screen People's Exhibit 36. Are these the tire marks that you're talking about?
Yes.
And had those tire marks been in that part of the yard when you left that morning?
No.
You told us that you also noticed that the door in the garage was broken. Is that right?
Yes.
Go on to the next slide. Here on the screen we have People's Exhibit 37. You talked about these items lying on the floor. Let's talk about those first. The items on the floor, was that unusual? Was that what the garage looked like when you left that morning?
No.
Tell us what was different.
Well, the car would have been there, and those items there on the floor of the garage there would not have been there. The car would have been there.
Also in your garage, did you have some power tools?
Yes.
Specifically, did you have a chainsaw and a hedge trimmer?
Yes.
Was the chainsaw and hedge trimmer in that garage when you left that morning?
Yes.
When you came that night at 6 p.m., was the chainsaw and the hedge trimmer in that garage?
No.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as People's Exhibit 15. Do you recognize that?
That's my chainsaw.
The chainsaw that was not in that garage
Yes.
when you got there on November 9th at 6 p.m.
That's correct.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as People's Exhibit 16. Do you recognize that?
That's my hedge trimmer.
The hedge trimmer that was in that garage when you left that morning
Yes.
and was gone that night. Is that right?
Yes.
You also told us that there was a car missing from the garage. It was Tina's car.
Yes.
Can you tell me what make and model that car was?
It was a 2018 Toyota Avalon.
What color was it?
It was white.
And do you know the license plate for that? If you don't, that's fine. I just don't.
It's ABS for American Builders Supply, and I don't remember the numbers on it.
But the first 3 letters were ABS, and then there was a number after that.
Yes.
Now, you told us that when you came into the garage, you noticed that a door had been kicked in. Is this the door that you're talking about?
Yes.
And is this People's 38 is up on the screen now? We're looking at a view of that door.
Yes.
Looks like there's some damage by the lock and by the handle. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Also looks like there's some footprints on the door.
Yes.
Was that door damaged like that when you left that morning for work?
No.
Were the footprints on the door when you left that morning for work?
No.
Next slide. People's Exhibit 39, kind of an angle view of that same door. Is that right, sir?
Yes.
Again, was the door damaged at the deadbolt and the handle like that?
No.
And if we look behind the door, it looks like there's a hole in the drywall where the door's been forced open.
That was not there.
So that I know because we have a security system here in the house. Now, the deadbolt did not break, so the door did its job. The door did its job. The thing that did not do its job is the frame. So when you have a security door, the frame, the thing that the door is attached to, matters. And I think that's a lot of misconception people have, is that if you just put a deadbolt, you're fine. No, because that deadbolt has to anchor towards a frame. If the frame is wooden, then the frame just needs to be damaged and the door will open. Yeah. No. When you put a security door, and PSA, I guess, to anyone who wants to secure themselves, the frame has to be also changed. And so, at least in our house, the steel frame is pretty much part of the wall. So if you can break a wall with your foot, then you can break my door open. Yeah, because he, like, you can even see the shoe print there. He kicked it so hard that he ripped the frame where the door sits, and then, therefore the door opened because there was no frame. Yeah.
Next slide, please. People's Exhibit 40, a close-up of that door showing how violently it was kicked open. Was it like that morning when you left?
No.
It was like that when you came home at 6 p.m.?
Yes.
And I can also tell you from, I guess, experience, is that because even a bolt to a wooden frame is still pretty strong. It would require like very hard kicks. So he probably must have stepped back, ran, and then used momentum to kick this door open. It wasn't just kicking from a standstill position, And he's a big guy. So mass, energy, physics.
When you came inside and you walked through that door, you walked through the garage that we just saw, and you walked through that damaged door, did you see someone sitting on the floor?
I saw my wife sitting on the floor in tears.
Tell me about that. You said she was in tears. Was she crying?
She was crying, and she told me that they her.
Objection, Your Honor.
Grounds?
Testimonial.
Overruled.
When you heard that from your wife, who you've been with for 38 years, did you notice anything sitting on the floor in the area around her?
Well, she was sitting on a I guess it was a blanket or a quilt.
And did you notice anything?
It's guys, this is really hard to listen, and nothing has happened already, because I can feel myself in his heart, and I'm looking at his body language, and I'm looking at his blinking. He is processing. I mean, he is reliving that moment, and he's keeping it together. I don't even think I would be able to. That is absolutely incredible. Yeah.
You notice anything about that quilt?
There was blood on it.
Next slide, please. Up on the screen is People's Exhibit 41, and if we can orientate ourselves, that door that you walked in, where would it be in relationship to this photograph?
Where that walker is, it would be to the north of that. Yes.
So if we're facing the picture, you're basically walking in from the left side of the picture in, fair to say?
Yes.
And you said that you saw your wife, Tina, sitting on the floor on a quilt. Is that the area that you saw her?
Yes, they're in front of that green chair, yes.
Did you also notice a spray can and a knife on the floor?
Yes.
And we can see that spray can and that knife on the floor.
Yes.
People's Exhibit 42, a close-up view of that blanket.
He used the entire can. The entire can.
Some blood stains and the can. Correct?
Yes.
People's 43. Again, I'm sorry, 80. I apologize. This is People's 80. The can, and again, blood stains in the blanket.
Yes.
I want to talk about that spray can. That spray can, that 409 carpet cleaner spray can. Was that on the floor when you left at 6 o'clock that morning?
No.
Next slide. People's 81 showing the blood on the floor.
Yeah.
Was that blood that was coming from your wife?
Yes.
And what part of her body was it coming from?
It came from it came from underneath her.
Lower regions of her body,
her lower
specifically
region.
her genital region.
Yes.
Oh my God. Okay.
People's 43. Can you tell us what we're looking at here?
That is a railroad spike that was converted into a knife.
Did that knife belong to you and Tina?
It belonged to me, yes.
Was it stored on the floor like that?
No, it was stored in a drawer.
Was it on the floor when you left that morning?
No.
Next slide, please. People's 44. Just a close-up view of that same knife. People's 45. So close-up view of the spray can. And the next slide, 46. It's a close-up view of the spray can. You told us you walked in after you saw those things that you saw, and you heard Tina say that they explained her condition. She was crying. Did she appear to be emotional to you?
Yes, she did.
Sobbing?
Yes.
Did she tell you that she was worried they were going to come back?
Yes, she did.
Because of that, what did you do?
I went into the bedroom and I got a handgun.
And what did you do with that gun?
I brought the gun out and I gave it to Tina. And then I got my phone and I called 911.
After you called 911, did you ask Tina what had happened to her?
Yes.
And did she tell you what had happened to her?
She said they me.
And did she tell you how the started?
She told me that she was driving home on Cook's Lane, and she got to the front or Bonanzinga in Cook's Lane, and the lights were not on in the car. and she stopped there at the stop sign, and there was a man came and went to help her to turn the lights on, and he got in the car with her and drove off with her.
In the car?
Yes, in the car.
Did she want to go with him?
No.
After the man got in the car and took off with her, did Tina tell you where they went?
She said they went up into the bottoms, the north bottoms.
And did she tell you while they were in that area, the north bottoms, what the man made her do to her top?
Yes.
What did Tina say that the man made her do to her top?
She said that he made her take her top off.
And did she tell you that he made her take her top off so that he could touch her breasts?
Yes.
After this man did that to her, did Tina say that the man forced her to perform oral sex on him?
Yes.
Did Tina tell you what she thought was going to happen to her?
She told me that she thought that they were going to kill her.
Because she was worried they were going to kill her, what did she say to them?
She told me that she told them that she had some jewelry up at the house and some money.
Now, at some point, did she also tell you that the male had made a threat to her about what would happen if her husband was home?
She said he said that if your husband's there, I'm going to kill you both.
Tina then told you that they went to the house.
Yes.
And when they got to the house, what did Tina say happened in the garage?
She said that the male and there was a female there, that they got into an argument.
And during the argument, Tina was able to get away?
Tina went into the house and she locked the door.
And when she locked the door, what did she say the male did?
Well, she went into the bedroom on the east side of the house and went to look for the handgun. But the handgun I had moved from the nightstand because we had grandchildren up there, and I was afraid one of those grandchildren were going to get a hold of that gun. So I put it up high where they couldn't get to it.
She couldn't find the gun.
She couldn't find the gun.
You could tell he blames himself. There's he cracked and he blames himself. He probably, allegedly, sorry, probably like, if I didn't move this GUN, my wife would have still been, alive.
What did the male do to the door?
The male kicked the door in.
And after the male kicked the door in, what did Tina say happened next?
She said she told him where the jewelry was. It was in a chest of drawers there in the bedroom.
I think you like the screen. Got you. It's Tina's home.
Up on the screen, we have Peoples 48, which has been introduced into evidence. You told us that Tina had jewelry in the chest of drawers. Is this where that chest of drawers was that had Tina's jewelry?
Yes.
Was that what the chest of drawers looked like when you were there at 6 o'clock that morning before you left for work?
No.
And when you were in the home, was there jewelry missing from the house?
No.
There was no jewelry missing?
No.
Okay. I apologize. At 6 o'clock when you got back after you had talked to Tina, was there jewelry missing then?
Yes. Yes, there was.
After Tina told this person about the jewelry, did Tina say that that person then threw her down some stairs to the basement?
Yes.
And tell me what Tina said about the basement.
She told him that there was a safe down the basement.
Do you in fact have a safe in the basement?
Yes.
What did Tina say happened with the safe in the basement?
They went to the safe to the basement, and there's a board that covers the face of it, and that was moved out of the way. And Tina didn't know the combination to it, so the male went to
Try to open the safe.
try to open it up with the knob on the safe.
And when he tried to open it up with the knob on the safe and he wasn't able to get into it, what did Tina say to him?
She said that the safe was wired to the police department, and now the police are going to be coming.
People's Exhibit 49, is this your basement?
Yes.
And you talked about, we see a gray door here. Is that the safe?
Yes.
You talked about a white cover. Is that what we see here?
Yes.
Was the white cover on that safe when you left that morning?
It was in front of the door on the safe, yes.
And again, here we see a different angle of that same door. That's the safe you're talking about, right?
Yes.
The knob there, the handles there.
Yes.
After Tina told the male that the safe was wired to the police and the police were coming, did Tina say that the man took her back upstairs?
Yes.
And when he took her back upstairs, what did she say occurred upstairs by that chair?
She said he her.
You mentioned that she shared with you that there was a male and a female in the house.
Yes.
Did she talk to you about the female and specifically that knife that we saw?
She talked about the female and how the female had threatened to kill her with that knife.
Tina went to the emergency room that night,
Yes.
and maybe a week later she went to see her OBGYN, Dr. Ada Kaguma. Is that right?
Yes.
And you were with Tina pretty much every day from November 9th to when she passed away on December 12th.
Yes.
That last month of her life, was she in pain?
Yes, she was.
She hurt from the injuries that she suffered?
Yes, she did.
Did you see bruises to her?
I saw some bruises, and she hurt a lot on her tailbone.
It was hard for her to sit,
Yes.
hard for her to stand.
Yes.
Was she having difficulty?
Objection, Your Honor.
Grounds?
Testimonial.
Was she having difficulty eating or drinking because of the burns in her mouth?
Yes.
Is it fair to say she was in pain until she died?
Yes, she was.
Judge, if I could have a moment, we're going to move on to some physical exhibits. Actually, Judge, I apologize. We're going to do photos first, and then we'll do the physical exhibits. You got to look at them first. For the record, I'm having the bailiff bring up people's 50 and 51. Tell me when you had a chance to look at those. Yes. Do those photographs show that white Toyota Avalon that you, I'm sorry, 51 and 52, I apologize, I misspoke. People's 51 and 52, do those show that white Toyota Avalon that
Yes.
belonged to Tina?
Yes, it belongs to American Builders Supply.
I apologize. Company car that she drove.
Yes.
Your Honor, we'd ask that People's 51 and 52 be introduced and published to the jury.
Any objection?
No, sir.
All right. 51 and 52 are admitted without objection, may be published.
Is that the front of the car and then the license plate, like we talked about, ABS
Yes.
1006?
Yes.
And People's 52. Back of the car, same license plate.
Yes.
We're going to have the bailiff hand you people.
So, yeah. Not only is he a lying piece of poop, he is absolutely disgraceful. He is an abomination. He is a monster. He can't even lie right. He's stupid. Caught with the watch and the purse and the cash and all of that of his wife, of the victim, and he's sitting there pretending, oh, that's not me, that's not me, it's just coincidence. This verdict is going to be like that. Because, listen to me, the jury's like me and you, we're not that stupid. There's some stupid people, but it's so crystal clear. And I'd be willing to bet he's aware of that, and I'd be willing to bet he's going to entertain his sick fantasies. He's going to entertain his sick fantasies. Incroyable. I commend Tina for putting up a fight, because her brain, like her thought process is, oh no, honey, I'm going to fight. And I commend that husband of hers to be so composed and very well stoic. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. Actually, I don't know how I would act. I'm so distraught. My chest is pounding out of my mouth. Okay, well, let's listen to what this guy has to say. Okay, look, if you got in this far, thank you so much. Press the like button. That means you like it enough. And if you are not subscribed already, subscribe. And I hope you like the rest of the content I put out, both future and past, and present. Thank you.
Mr. Schmidt, I apologize for having to be here today. However, that is not under my control. I understand this to be a difficult time for you and your family. I'm sure you prefer not to be here.
Objection, Your Honor, he needs to ask a question.
All right, Mr. Yohn, if you could ask your questions of this witness.
You stated your name as Timothy Schmidt, obviously, correct?
Yes.
And your age and occupation, you're 60,
I'm 66 years old.
and your occupation is American Builder Supply, which you own.
Yes.
And obviously your relation to CL was husband, correct?
Yes.
You stated that you've known CL for approximately, or we're engaged in a relationship with CL for approximately 36 years, true?
Yes.
And been married for 2.
Yes.
So you own your own business, true?
Yes.
You're obviously a very smart man. You're educated. I will not take that from you. Your memory is pretty swell, would it not be?
It's pretty good.
Thank you for that.
What the F? What? You're very educated, very smart man. Your memory is pretty slow, isn't it? You own your own business. Like, what? Oh, look at that, Soviets. Look at you, idiots. Look at that. You think you're going to sit around here and pretend like you're a lawyer and like you're out of your mind. You're out of your league. Perfect. I get some enjoyment knowing that inside his stupid cabeza, he is sweating like a skunk. Audacious, isn't he? Audacious, isn't he? Like as if he's going to Starbucks and I'm just going to get some latte and having a conversation with my friend. Don't speak to me like that. Don't speak to me like that. He's talking to him as if they're friends. Get to the freaking point, Mr. Lawyer. Let's see how smart you are. Let's see.
So you do remember the evening of November 9th?
Yes.
And you stated that you left work sometime around a bit after 5 o'clock.
Yes.
Could you determine maybe potentially 15-minute range of how the length of that?
Objection, Your Honor. Asked and answered. The witness said it was around 5.
Yes.
Around 5, so.
Overrule the objection. He may answer if he knows.
Would you repeat that again?
Could you give a close description of the approximate time within maybe 5 or 10-minute range of the time of leaving your home? Leaving your place of business?
It would have been sometime after 5 o'clock.
Maybe 5:15, 5:20.
Possible. Well, it probably wouldn't have been that late. It would have been closer to right after 5 o'clock.
Okay, so 5:05, 5:10.
Yes.
Thank you. And you stated that you were at Farm and Home for approximately 40 minutes, correct?
I was at Farm and Home for some time. I don't have the exact amount of time it was. Yes.
And then you wrote, upon leaving Farm and Home, you arrived at your house, your residence, approximately 6 p.m. a bit after.
Yes.
And you observed tire marks also in your yard, correct?
Yes.
Them aren't normal.
No.
Thank you. You stated what the garage looked like that morning. Mr. Smith, was the garage any different than when you arrived at home?
Well, the car was in the garage when I went to work.
Okay, and so she was still at home when you went to work.
Yes.
Upon arriving home, did you pull into the garage?
Yes, I believe I did. Yes.
And you parked possibly, potentially in the parking space you normally use, which is to the right of
Yes.
that pile. Thank you. And could you tell us maybe when you noticed that door, the inner door that had been kicked in, did you notice that maybe before you got out of your truck or instantly?
I didn't notice it until I got up to it.
Okay, thank you. But it was open, correct?
Yes.
Mr. Smith, I apologize for having to go into these details again. I'm sure you do not want to rehash them. You walked inside and you're...
Do you see how he's antagonizing Mr. Smith? Do you see how he is antagonizing the husband? Please, he knows exactly what he did that night. He knows exactly what he did that night, and he just repeating and repeating. What he's just repeating exactly what the guy said. He is playing with his victim. He's having fun. He's having fun. And I knew it. I knew it because you know what? It's so ironclad situation. where is he going with this thought? Even if you took pen to paper and tried to conceive a defense, where are you going with this? That he has bad memory? Okay, so you're going to repeat every question the prosecution said just to see if he makes a mistake? If this is your best shot, honey, you really are an idiot.
Wife CL was sitting on the floor, correct?
Yes.
And as stated, that was in front of the chair?
Yes.
And she was sitting on the quilt, as you said.
Yes.
That was on the quilt.
She was sitting on the quilt, yes.
Okay, thank you. Do you remember what your wife was wearing by any chance?
No, I don't.
She was wearing some type
She
of
had some clothing on, but I don't remember exactly what she had on, no.
pants, shirt, bra.
I'm not sure exactly what she had on.
You don't remember her having bottoms on.
Objection, Your Honor. Asked and answered. The witness has said he doesn't remember.
Well, we've gone at it three different ways, Mr. Yohn, so I'm going to sustain the objection. The witness testifies he does not recall what she had on.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Schmidt, I understand you're in home building.
Do you see how sick this is? Do you see how he was like, do you not remember she had on? With, as if you could hear the smirk in his voice. He's enjoying, like he is absolutely just swimming in this family's agony. Do you see how he was egging that father? Oh, you don't know what she was wearing? Well, you sure she wasn't wearing this? Yeah. What a piece of poop.
Mr. Schmidt, I understand you're in home building, American Builder Supply. You're probably educated in home building or whatnot. Could you tell us approximately how far from the door that chair might be?
I'm not sure exactly how far that is from the front door.
Maybe 20 feet, 15 feet.
It would be farther than that.
And upon walking in, you state that you observed a can and a knife in the middle of the floor, correct?
When I got into the house, I saw the can and the knife on the floor, yes.
Could you describe approximately the location of that can and that knife?
They are over in the kitchen area.
If you would give me 1 second, please.
There's nothing there. There's nothing there.
Upon entering, could you give a recollection of the events that occurred upon your entering the home?
Objection calls for a narrative.
Sustained.
Overrule, you may answer the question.
Okay, answer it. Fine.
Would you repeat that?
If you would you relay once more the turn of events as you entered the home? What procedure you took, how you went about the situation?
I walked into the house. I saw my wife sitting on the floor in tears, and she told me they raped me.
And then you went on in to find a firearm for her?
And I went in and I got a firearm. She told me that she was told that they would be back.
Okay, and that firearm, where did you retrieve that firearm from?
I got it from the bedroom.
That would have been
Closet in the bedroom.
the south bedroom, correct?
There would be a bedroom on the east side of the house where the chest of drawers was.
Yes, sir. And then you proceeded back to your wife and you gave her the firearm for protection, correct?
Yes.
Then you, I believe in your statement, you stated that you then called the police, law
I
enforcement.
called 911, yes.
Do you remember roundabout what time that may have been? How long it was after you arrived home?
It wasn't very long.
Could you give a approximate minute length?
It was only a few minutes.
So you obviously talked to her for a small amount of time, retrieved the firearm and talked to her, and then you went out to retrieve your phone from your truck, correct?
Yes, she needed an ambulance, or she needed medical attention.
Okay. In your statement, you stated that your wife was drinking some type of liquid when you arrived home.
I'm going to object at this point. When he says statement, the witness didn't testify to that, so I'm not sure what statement he's referring to.
Sustained.
Mr. Schmidt you made a statement, correct? A video statement.
What's that?
You made a video recorded statement, correct? With officers of Adams County Sheriff's Department.
Objection, Your Honor, would be improper impeachment. At this point, he's not been confronted with that statement.
Sustained.
And you stated you don't remember the clothing your wife.
Objection, asked and answered.
Sustained.
Upon calling 911, could you tell us approximately how long it was before officers arrived?
He asked that question
To
already,
your best estimated guess.
so he wasn't sure.
I don't know exactly. It wasn't very long. They
Yeah.
responded pretty quickly.
Are you dead?
And you made that call at 6:09 p.m. True? You stated that CL, your wife, said that she had been robbed, sexually assaulted, and hijacked. Could you potentially go into a bit more detail as to what she stated to you upon the minutes of being there before the police arrived or before you made the 911 call?
She told me she had been raped. And I went and got the phone, and I went out in the garage, and I called the police department. I called 911.
Okay, and you made that call from the garage, or did you?
I made it from outside the house. I went out to see if anybody else was coming back, and I called the police. I called 911
Out in your garage.
from out in the garage.
Mr. Schmidt, is it possible that be false information?
Objection, Your Honor.
Sustained.
Your Honor, there is a 911 call that shows.
Objection, Your Honor.
The objection's been sustained. You'll need to ask your questions to this witness.
That it was a very brief conversation, correct?
Objection, Your Honor. Which conversation?
The conversation with your wife
Hold
was
on.
very.
When there's an objection, I'll need to address either sustained or overruled. And Mr. Yohn, I'm going to sustain the objection and ask that you ask a more specific question.
Are you aware that your Are you aware that your wife CL stated that you arrived home?
Objection, Your Honor. Improper impeachment.
And that will be sustained.
Welcome, idiots, to the world of being a lawyer, which you are not. Stupid. Look at that. Look at you struggling. I see where he's going with this false information. So apparently he may have had access to a conversation between him and his wife while 911 was on the phone, and he came out with something. Now, I don't know if we're ever going to get to it because he can't formulate a question correctly because he's an idiot. He is an idiot. Whatever. So, okay, I understand now where he is attempting to go. Whatever conversation he had with his wife, whatever the conversation Smith had with Tina while now one was on the phone, he picked up a nugget from there, and he is trying to connect a dot of misinformation, aka calling him a liar, because the conversation between Tina and her husband when now one was called may have alluded to, a distraught victim who may be distraught, maybe not sure, maybe. There are a lot of maybes when you are just recently being victimized, right? He is trying to capitalize on that. I don't know if you're ever going to hear that phone call, but I see where it's going with this. Either way, idiots, you DNA and you had her watch. Explain that to me. So stupid. So stupid. Let me tell you something, criminals. Please stay in school, okay? Please stay in school and stay in school. And talk to someone who doesn't look like you. Talk to someone and then, learn something new. Go to the library, read a book. I'm serious. This is like so stupid. This is like 101. My 6-year-old nephew could do better than that. I'm not even kidding. Yeah, 6, 9 years old. 9-year-old nephew could do better than that. This is simple, basic, critical thinking. Read a book. Go to a library. Talk to someone you never talked before. Learn something new. What time is it? Oh.
Where CL was located, sitting on that floor. The pictures, it appeared to be a very slim path in between the chair and the trash can or the wall. If you may, I assume that path was clear for you to walk through in order to retrieve that gun.
What?
That bedroom, eastern bedroom.
Yes. It's not enough for me to get through.
Nothing on the floor there, right?
Well, the cleaner was on the floor, but it wasn't right there in the hallway where I walked through. No.
All right.
Are you following any of this? So, look, that objection messed up his train of thought because he can't formulate a good question. He doesn't know where to go next. And now it's all was the hallway cleared? Really? That's the best you got? I'm telling you, go read a book, criminals. Read a book. It will do you some good. I'm serious. Libraries are free.
So the hallway was clear of debris, trash, clothing, or anything else that may have obstructed your path to this room to get to this gun, besides the cleaner, correct?
Yeah.
I walked straight into the east bedroom and retrieved the firearm.
Your Honor, would you direct the witness to answer the question, please?
If you could rephrase the question, maybe he's not understanding what you're asking.
Yeah.
That walkway that you had to walk through, which is in between the chair and the trash can, there in the pictures that we observed, I believe. 2 of Exhibit 45 and 42. That's a very slim pathway, Mr. Schmidt. You observed the exhibit. You're a resident of that home. Again,
What?
I'm assuming the walkway was clear of debris, trash, clothing, or anything else that may have obstructed your path to this room to get to this gun, correct? Besides the can.
I believe there were some other items there on the floor, but it did not obstruct me from going in there.
Thank you. And upon calling 911, you stated you were in the garage when you called 911. Did you remain in the garage until police arrived, waiting for them?
He answered that. Oh, he's thinking. I thought the answer is yes. Yeah, because he gave the gun to Tina in case they come back.
No, I went back in the house.
Okay. I'm not the criminal, please.
And could you tell us how you proceeded from that point on?
I checked on my wife to see if she was okay, and I looked out the windows to see when they were coming.
So you were potentially back, excuse me, I'm sorry, I'll reword that. So you were back and forth to the windows, correct?
Yes.
You have what windows in front of your home that would allow you to observe officers coming?
There's a set of windows there in the kitchen in front of the sink that you can look out over to the north of the house.
A single set or a double?
It's two windows.
You sure you did not stand there holding her hand?
Objection, Your Honor.
Sustained.
And on that note, I'm going to object to his speech. Useless, pointless, waste of your time, waste of my time. Do you know how hard editing is? Do you know how long editing is? Please, all I could think about is my precious, beautiful little minutes that I'm going to have to spend to edit this mess. No. You want to watch him talking and say nonsense? Go ahead and look it up yourself. I'm not dealing with this. Let's skip to the next segment. Excuse me? 100%. I don't have time for this. What the hell? What is that? Look, the injuries, out of respect for Tina, I'm not going to show it to you. You can go ahead and watch it. All I can tell you is that there is extensive bruising. Extensive bruising. When they mean brutal, they mean brutal. He brutally sexually assaulted her. Brutal! I don't think you understand what I mean by brutal. To think that a phalanx, if you know what I mean, did all that bruising, what is that? Let me tell you something right now, because there's no way he enjoyed it the way sexually enjoyed it. This is why I think he bruised her like that. Because, number one, he wanted to punish her. Punish her for what? He wanted to punish her for Tina running, for fighting back pretty much, for running back into the house and locking the door, making him break the door down. He wanted to punish her for that. He wanted to punish her. Why? Because how dare them call the police? It was all about punishment. Punishments. What do you mean by the police? The safe. The safe alerted the police. Therefore, they went upstairs, and that's when he sexually assaulted her. It was all about a punishment. It was like, oh, really? You want to play with me? That's why, allegedly, I believe, he took it to that next level because she fought back. And he was like, okay, well, you know, he had this power trip. A power trip. Let's go to my final thought. And let's go to my final thought. Listen, I'm going to make this stuff very, 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 very short because there's not that much to think about. He is an absolute monster. I am surprised that they are not putting more charges on him. Lawyers, legal, court system, judges, everybody get on board, change the laws. This is a perfect example where Congress over there on that state needs to get together and tighten the grip to make sure that you get something like the death penalty for this. Because I understand, listen, she passed away, they say not from her wounds, but let me tell you something. I wouldn't be surprised if this expedited her demise. So yeah, maybe she didn't pass away from what he did directly, but indirectly, it caused her expedited demise. Stress, depression, yeah, that makes you not well, and that expedites your expiration date, 100%. And find a way over there, lawyers, smart people, to put more ironcladness into this thing. This cannot happen again. This cannot happen again. This cannot happen again. This cannot happen again. What else for my final thought? What else? What else are we going to say about this idiot? Right? I have to congratulate the family. I have to congratulate the family of Tina, because that husband of hers, and you know what? He took the brunt force of facing the attacker. And Mr. Yohn knew exactly, he felt that energy. He felt the energy. He felt the defiant energy. And he stood up there, asked this question to have that father recall what he did to his wife and giggle schmiggle in his head. They didn't show his face, but you best believe, yeah, he probably gave him some looks. The memory of Tina will forever be tarnished in the eyes of not only her husband, but also in the eyes of her kids. Maybe the grandkids will be spared for it. Even though she fought, but a little bit, that little sting, he left, Mr. Yohn left the mark on all of that family. Everybody. For probably at least one more generation. Your grandmother, this is what happened. At least one generation. At least one generation. Or more, but at least one generation. That is absolutely a big violation to someone's, it's just a big violation. And you know, let me tell you something. I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm very distraught. I'm extremely distraught. So I'm picking my words very carefully because and I'm trying to be presentable here in front of you. But 1 second. When I just want to paint something for you. When you are in a marriage, right? When you're married to someone for as how many years you've been, even if you've just been with someone, doesn't have to be marriage, but if you've been with someone for as many years as these guys been, more than 10 and whatnot, and you guys still get along and there's a friendship, the level of intimacy is so deep that whatever Tina felt, that husband felt it. That intimate bond is actually even deeper than between parent and child. Because the child knows you as a parent from a certain point. Your spouse knows you from way before the child. So when that husband came home and saw his wife like that, her pain became his. So like that, it was instant. Honey, what? That pain became his. And that's what in my mind, as I'm trying to detach myself from the situation, otherwise I won't be able to be presentable. I can't not undo that, because that specific night, the husband was also shattered. Yeah. This is just day one. It speaks volume to Tina's support system. A week later, go to OBGYN. You know, even though they do show you a picture of her, I'm like, you know what? Very pretty woman. She looks good. She looks very good for someone who's been severely assaulted the week before. she looks in good spirit, like that shows you the ralliness around her that happened to allow her to even look somewhat presentable, not just like with clothes and stuff, but like physically, because she was bruised, but you could see a little bit of a little bit of a smile, a little bit of, because she was not there alone, like a little bit of her personality was still coming through. She didn't completely break. He didn't manage to completely break her. I don't know if that makes any sense. That was very nice. What else? And he sat there. He knows what he did. He knows exactly what he did. He was having a good old time questioning that dad and having fun, having a lot of fun, making that father repeat himself pretty much again. Like, it's the same question the prosecution did. It's almost like, look at that, Mr. Sovereign Citizen. You didn't do your homework? You didn't do your homework. Oh, you stopped cheating on the prosecutor homework situation. You can even tell the prosecutor getting so upset and annoyed at the fact that, just annoyed. All right. Look, for those who are new here, Let's Talk is where I take off my jacket, and I confuse the hell out of you with, what is that? What is that? Yeah, and then press like if you have done so, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Listen, I am still very shaken. I'm very, very, very shaken, extremely shaken. But I'm gonna calm down. Look, my family just arrived home. I can hear the stomp, 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 stomp. I hear the baby already. So I'll make this very quick. So I want to go and say hi to them, and I want to hang out with them a little bit before my day continues. What did I say? Yeah, Let's Talk is when I just hang out and stuff. Listen to me. First of all, if you're wondering why you can't read this, it's because I have the phone in mirror mode. Why do I have the phone in mirror mode? It's because even though I have the phone connected to my laptop, I can read text messages from here, and I can read notification from here. But my contraption does not show phone calls, and there are phone calls that I cannot ignore. So you don't see the interruptions because I edited it out, but some phone calls I have to press answer, and I have to answer. And, I just edit that out, but I need to see who's calling me at all times. What else? Oh, right. So it's mirror mode. It says Polytechnic University. This is Christopher, my spouse, went to school for undergrad. He's a healthcare actuary. And at the time when he graduated from there, this is pretty much NYU. There, long story short, NYU. All right, let's talk. I have a question for you guys, and this is gonna be very boring for some people, but I want to know a little bit of what you think, especially from a male perspective. Hi, girls. Hey, girls. Hey. No. Please, let's be serious for a second. I don't have anybody in my life, I don't have anyone who is in this particular situation. So maybe one of you guys are, and you can give me an insight. Originally, we were going to go for 2 kids, but when we had Olympia, because she is of a particular temperament, it's difficult having babies. And so we were like, oh, forget 2 kids, we'll stick with 1. But now things are good. And I'm having baby fever. And I want the second one. And because we're doing this through surrogacy, the second one is going to be a boy. That's the perk of doing it through surrogacy. You can choose the sex of your kid. So it's going to be a boy, and it's going to be from my sperm. And Christopher is not 100% on board, but not because he doesn't want the second one, because he is afraid of running through another temperamental child, because this was very hard. And we're not getting younger. I'm 38. He's also 38. We're both 38 years old. So our clock is ticking. Our clock is ticking. We're not going to be 45 with 12-year-olds. You know what I'm saying? So my question to you guys, to whoever is in that same dilemma, is, was there ever regret? Like, if I decide not to have one, like, fine, I can live with it. But when I'm 80, 90, 100, when I'm 1,000 years old, would I regret it? Because I think I will be completely devastated if I have the feeling of regret. Right now, I don't think I will regret it, but I wonder what it feels like when you're in a position where you want another kid, but you choose not to have another kid, but you really want another kid, but you choose not to have another kid because let's just say it's too expensive, you don't have the finances. And then when your current kid is like 18, 19 and doing things around, do you sit there and wonder, oh, what it would have been like if you had the other one? Because that would break my heart. I hope that's my crossroad, and that's the conversation going on in the house right now. And we have a very small window. If we're going to decide, it will have to be by the end of this year. And so by the end of this year, we will have to say yes or no. And by next year, we will have to start the process for the baby to be here the year after. So if we say yes now, the processes will get a baby in 2 years, and Olympia will be 3 years old. To give you an idea, we don't have a lot of time. And we would be, I would be 38, 39, I'd be like 40, 41 years old with a brand new baby and exhausted already. Right. Because when you put logic into the game, it's not logical, it's not smart to have a second one. It's not. It's not. And I want one, but right now I don't want it that bad. But I wonder if anybody was in that situation as I am. Like right now you want it, but it's okay. What happens when it's late, like 15 years later? Does that feeling of regret comes back? Please let me know. Because I don't know who to call. I can't call my mom about this. She doesn't co-sign. Her religion does not co-sign. This is the thing with my mother. We're not on the same page on this one. She has difficulty even accepting my current daughter. So no, my mom is not the option to ask. I can't ask my mother-in-law because she had 1 million kids, and I can't ask my sister-in-law. She had 1 million kids. I can't ask my sister. She had 1 million kids. Everybody I know has like 1 million kids. And they're like, I'm done. I'm the only one who has one. I don't know anybody in my circle. I don't even have clients that I can ask because I'm friends with my clients. Everybody has more than one kid. And I've tried to ask and they're like, I don't know. So maybe if I put this story out here to the masses, to 5,000 of you, maybe one of you will have the same experience as me, and maybe you can share some light as to how it feels like 15 years later. Do you go back and regret not doing it when you could? That's it. All right, I'm gonna go. My kid is screaming. Well, she stopped screaming now, but I want to say hi to my family. I want to say hi. I haven't seen them. No, I see them today, but I haven't hung out with Chris a lot today. He took the baby away. I was working all day. I haven't seen them. I need to go hug them, say hi, and giggle and laugh and all that stuff. Oh wait, last one. So, you know what Olympia has been doing recently? You know, she screams a lot, but she's a laughing baby because we laugh a lot here in this house. And she picked up something from me. Do you know how I do? I wasn't like that before, but before when I first met you, but this is a regular chatter in my regular life. I say yes and I follow or I don't even say yes, I say My daughter does that. She does that, and it's like, oh my god, no, I need you to say words, not hums. Yeah, so she's and you know, it's not for the word mama, but it's not for that, like mama. No. She hums. Yeah. Okay, bye. I gotta go. Love you so much for watching. I will see you tomorrow. I don't know when this is going to be scheduled. I'll figure it out when everything is said and done. But I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.